Jones walking the bar on his LL Cool J shit. He got his muscle shirt on. You know what I'm saying?
Licking his lips and shit.
He see a girl from across the room. He catch eye contact with her a couple times. You know what I'm saying? Licking his lips at her. You know. So throughout the night, he peep her, and sooner or later he decide he's gonna approach. So he approaches her. She feeling him. You know what I'm saying? She reach out to shake his hand. He take her hand. He hold her hand. He keep it while he talking to her. Eye contact. All these things, saying all the right things, and she feeling him. He get the number. Everything's great, smooth, right? Let's say y'all walk in a bar, same exact scenario, but she not feeling me at all. So let's say y'all making the eye contact. She not liking that shit. I'm not reading the room, so I'm like, okay, shorty looking, woo. You know what I'm saying? I see her throughout the night. I approach her. I reach out for her hand. She try to shake my hand. I hold her hand. She ain't feeling that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving her this eye contact. I'm licking my lips, all this shit. And she not feeling it at all. All of that I did is now creepy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just did way too much. She wasn't feeling that shit from the jump. I'm holding her hand. She like, nigga, let my hand the fuck go. Why are you touching me? Like, so regardless of what the intent was, I wanted to shoot my shot just like Jones wanted to shoot his shot. I thought she was attractive. I thought she was pretty. I wanted to get to know her. I had all the right intentions, but not being able to read the room make the situation turn out completely different. Taking it to another level. How many times have you been in a situation? I know every woman in the comments finna act like they never have done this before. Right. How many times have you been in a situation where you chilling at the crib? It's 10 o'clock at night. You get a phone call. Oh, I'm at the club. Woo, when I leave, I'm coming to your house. Or it's the middle of the day. It might be Sunday. You just left church. Woo, she off the mimosa. She had motherfucking 10 mimosas. And I'm pulling up on you after you know what I'm saying? I'll leave this day party. Yeah. She pull up to your crib drunk. You sober. She want to fuck. Y'all fuck. Whatever. Cool. Y'all wake up the next day. Everything cool. Yeah. We know if she wake up the next day and feel like she didn't want to do that, you can go to jail.
Yeah.
Because she can't give consent while she intoxicated. So what I'm just trying to tell niggas right now is that your good intentions ain't good enough at the end of the day. It don't matter. Like, you have to be responsible not only for yourself and your own intentions, but also responsible for the woman that you're trying to date. And this is a grown woman, but still, you have to be responsible for her situation, how she might be receiving what's going on, and everything else. Every dynamic of the situation you have to be responsible for, because at the end of the day, it's going to fall on you. So the episode today is about reading the room.
Reading the room.
If you lazy, you waking up at fucking 3 o'clock in the afternoon and shit like that.
Popping bottles.
You're setting the tone for everybody because you're the leader.
Popping pills.
That's just what comes with being a man.
Popping bitch ass niggas.
I don't want nobody making decisions over my life except me. Not a woman, not a judge, not an officer, not no motherfucker.
When them bullets hit him up, look like son had a seizure. Run up, give it up, you know the procedure. I be sipping Jack and honey.
I don't think nothing can make me feel like a man. I don't think nothing can make me not feel like a man. You can't take the benefits of being a man without the responsibilities.
Give you niggas halos on God in the cake.
So the inability to read the room can lead to the realization or accusations of harassment and sexual assault. All right. And I want to paint that picture. Sexual assault, it was a situation where motherfuckers went out of town to visit a college, right? Motherfuckers on college campus, and it's a cookout. Link over some girls, 2 men, you know what I'm saying? Everything cool. It's about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Kick it with these girls all day, all night. Go to the night party with them, go eat a couple times with them. We kick it. It's just a good ass time the whole day. End of the night, go back to their apartment. They got a 3-bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers go in. Everybody won. You know what I'm saying? Everybody won. Everybody smashed. Whatever the case may be. The next morning, everything good. Motherfuckers wake up, cooking breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Everything smooth. The 3rd roommate comes home. They weren't expecting her back yet, right? The 3rd roommate come home, and she see one of the girls, you know, and she peeped the situation like, wait, this nigga sitting in your room, you cooking, he got a plate, he sitting in your bed, what's going on? Not only does this girl has a boyfriend, one of the girls who had sex, not only does she has a boyfriend, but she's also known as like this goody 2-shoes pastor daughter who, you know, she only ever had sex with her boyfriend. She lost her virginity to her boyfriend. No nigga other than that ever touched her, whatever the case may be. So the third roommate goes back and snitches to the boyfriend. Tell the boyfriend what's going on. Now, motherfuckers back at their own school now. Like, weekend over with. Motherfuckers long gone.
Yeah.
Shorty go back, tell her boyfriend. The boyfriend hot. He mad as hell. He tell her father, the pastor. Father called her about it. She say, "No, I was drunk. That nigga took advantage of me. I don't know what the fuck was going on." So now this the story she telling her boyfriend and her father. Father called school, get bro kicked out of school, like pending an investigation. You know what I'm saying? It took bro probably about 3 weeks to get, because she blocked him. So it took him about 3 weeks to get in contact with her and let her know, like, hey, just got kicked out of school over this shit. You need to tell the truth. Like, what the fuck going on? Ooh. So, you know, after that conversation, she ended up coming clean to her father, coming clean to her boyfriend, took the L on her end. By that time, he done and failed the semester and shit like that. But that's what happened. But again, and the way to go back to reading the room is this. Like, as an adult, as a man, a lot of times you have to not only be responsible for yourself and what your intentions are, but you have to be responsible for someone else and what they got going on in their situation. Welcome back to Roses I Did. I'm still Terry Rosen.
I'm Jones.
How's your week?
Smooth. Nerve-wracking. But smooth at the same time.
Yeah.
The week prior, I don't think I said this. I experienced anxiety for the first time in my life, like a heavy level of it. You know what I'm saying? I've had anxiety, but I think everybody experienced anxiety before. But the way that I would hear people talk about anxiety, how they can't sleep and it just really affecting them. I just never could relate. And I've been in some real situations in my life. I've been in some shit, but I've just never experienced anxiety. But this past week I experienced it, and everybody who knows me know I don't give a fuck what's going on in my life. I'm gonna go to sleep. Like, I'm gonna get some sleep. I've never had a problem sleeping.
Yeah.
But me waiting to see what's gonna happen with the job, for whatever reason, that shit had it gave me anxiety for real. And that was my first time experiencing it. And I didn't like how that felt. I felt like that was a little bit too much control over me. So I just started praying. I reached out to like one of my spiritual sisters and told her what was going on. She sent me like a voice note of praying and gave me some scriptures. And no lie, literally that next day, like I was better. I was a lot better. Because I didn't like how that shit was. It was just too much control over me. I'm like, man, this shit is, I'm not going for this, you know? Yeah. But after that, you know, that's why I went into smooth. At first it was rocky, then it was smooth. But overall, it was a smooth week. It's cool.
For sure. Man, it's crazy though. I think when it come to that, you know, I had just made the post about an imposter syndrome and embracing the evidence and the support of, you know, I think recognizing the evidence. Mm-hmm. Regardless of how things turn out for you or for anybody who might be watching this, I think it's important to always remember that someone reaching out and even giving you an opportunity is evidence that you have value in a situation. Like with this podcast thing, we've been doing it for so many years, and there's been a number of celebrities that were supposed to come to the show. There's been a number of big platforms that we were supposed to go on. There's been a number of athletes that were supposed to do this and do that. All these different opportunities, 90% of the time they don't work out. Whether some got rescheduled, whether, you know, something bigger came up. Like it's just how this shit go. And that shit used to really discourage me if something didn't work. But now I realize that like the fact that I'm not only on their radar and they see me, the fact that they actually was like thought to like reach out and say like, hey, I want you to do this, even if it didn't work out. That's all evidence I needed that I'm going in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just important to remember. And niggas ain't like, so if you out applying for jobs and shit like that, man, motherfuckers you ain't making it to the third interview for no reason. I don't give a fuck how many third interviews you did and it didn't work. No one's wasting that time giving you a third interview if you just ain't it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that might not have been a situation for you, but you got some value. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I had to think about that.
Don't worry too much.
Yeah, I had to think about that. And especially I had to lean on the fact that I had to reflect on the work that I put in that week. Yeah. Preparing for that shit. Mm-hmm. Like I left no stone unturned. Like I was, after the interview, I was literally depleted. I rested for the rest of the day. My body was tired. I was up 2-3 o'clock in the morning, 3 days straight, just doing finishing touches. Like I wasn't lazy about it at all. So I can rest on that. Like I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of reassuring myself
Yeah.
in that moment, in those moments of anxiety where after after I prayed, went over like what I contributed to it, the effort that I put into it. After that, it's like, okay, everything calmed down.
And that could be a double-edged sword depending on how you look at it. Because on one end, when you try and you do everything that you're supposed to do and you don't get the results you want, that could be very discouraging to some people because it's like, I don't know what more I could have done. Yeah. But then there's sometimes you can find a lot of like peace in that. Mm-hmm. It could be a lot. You can find a lot of peace in the fact that like, nigga, I did everything I was supposed to do and I can detach myself from the result because I know it's nothing more I could have done. That just is what it is. And I've always felt like that in sports, like in boxing and shit like that. Is just like if I did everything I'm supposed to do, and like, this nigga I still can't fuck with him. He just better than me right now. It is what it is. But the feeling of knowing that I could have ran a couple extra miles, knowing that I missed practice a couple times, that shit'll eat you alive. So it's very important to not leave no stone unturned, but also do it again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do it again. And then it's just like you also, you aiming for Goliath right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, nigga, it's so much other shit out here that's gonna be like a cakewalk after that. You know what I'm saying? Because you looking at as far as like the company you fucking with. So, that's a big thing too. You know what I mean? That's a big confidence boost. I remember when like going back to sports again, boxing and shit. Like I used to imagine, you don't know who you gonna fight in an amateur tournament. Like you have no idea who this person gonna be. It might be somebody who been boxing all their life, but they only have 4 actual fights. And you just started boxing 4 months ago and you got 4 actual fights. Like, so that ain't paired you up with this nigga and he a dog. Like, it is what it is. You gotta fight this nigga. And in my imagination, I always made the nigga Superman. Yeah. Like, I'm like, the nigga in my imagination, nigga I was fighting was always bigger than me. He was always faster, always stronger. If I was running 6 miles, that nigga was running 8. Now I'm running 9. I was like, nigga, that nigga might be doing 9. I got to do 10. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that nigga always doing more push-ups than me. That nigga was a monster. And then it's like, when we got in the ring, it's like, the nigga was so unintimidating because I was prepared for Superman and you just the man. Like, I ain't just a man though. I'm a man that's ready to fuck up Superman. I'm gonna fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the confidence would just be there. Like, oh yeah, I got this nigga.
The fact that what you just did, I was listening to some Andrew Tate shit, and he said one of the things that kept him hungry, well, because he used to be a kickboxer. Yeah. And he was like, I retired, and kickboxing kept me on my shit every day. Like, I'm training, I'm this, I'm that. Like, I was always on go. So when I retired, he was like, I didn't want to lose my drive. He said, so I sat down and got a journal, and I wrote up an imaginary person to compete against. But it was the better version of me. And he said, he wrote down like 20 things. He said, better version of me is the type of person, he gonna read 10 pages of a good book every single day. The better version of me, he gonna go to train every day and not miss a day and train for 2 hours. The better version of me, do this and do that. So that's what he was chasing, like the better version of him. So that imaginary enemy, it kept him, you know what I'm saying, on go. And you was thinking about that, nigga, you was young as shit.
Yeah, bro. Like, when you don't know, it's a anything that's unknown is just a different, it takes you to another level. Like David Goggins had that example of like, they had to run miles in the military. And it's like, we know when we get to the finish line, we done. So people start speeding up and shit like that. And you had some of those commanders that, even though you know what the finish line is, you know you can't start running to the commander stop. Yeah. So you know when you cross that finish line, niggas speeding up, like, oh damn, we damn near there. Woo woo. And some commanders that just keep going. And you see everybody head drop like, fuck. Because now we don't know when this nigga's gonna stop.
We experienced that together.
Everybody get discouraged, huh?
We experienced that together.
With what?
Jiu-jitsu. That warm up.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
nigga, I had no clue. Me and bro, we take the kids to the village and we took them to like a jiu-jitsu class. Yeah. So that's my first time there. He like, all right, y'all, we gonna warm up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We gonna do 10 push-ups, and then when you get up, you're gonna go right into a squat. Yeah. And then you're gonna get back down and do another 10. And he said, all right, let's go. He didn't say how many, he didn't say anything. I didn't even notice he didn't say how many. Yeah. So we just started doing them. You know what I'm saying? I'm in shape. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing it. And I think probably around the 3rd time we did that shit, I'm like, damn, this shit hurting.
He kept saying like, oh, let's give it one more.
Yeah, let's one more.
And then he do it again. Let's give it one more. Just one more time. Like,
that bitch, like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because we didn't know when it was gonna stop.
Yeah, and we know this nigga is strong. This nigga can do this shit all day, and you know that. Like,
that was a good mind test too.
Absolutely,
it was dope.
Absolutely. So yeah, that fear of that unknown to take you to some unimaginable places, bro. Like some unimaginable places. Like preparing for your biggest fear versus like a nigga who you can see your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah,
it take you to a whole nother place.
Oh, that's dope.
But I don't know. My week was different, bro. I got a pay cut at work. Not a personal, but everybody got a pay cut.
Yeah.
Which was super unexpected. I had hella fucking plans for this year. Not even on no kicking and shit, but like just stacking like crazy. I had hella financial goals that when I first got it, I'm like, damn, I might not hit them goals, but I just decided I am gonna hit them goals. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lot of shit. The fun is I'm gonna have to live. Luckily I was living below. Oh my God, bro. Gee, I'm so glad I was living below my means already, bro. Like some of the conversations I was having with some of my coworkers, it was just like niggas was like, bro, what the fuck going on? I just got a new whip. I got 6 months left on my lease downtown. Like, how the fuck I'm finna like this? Like, I'm talking about niggas is like real financial crisis about this shit, and I'm just like, bro. I'm like, damn, I'm glad I got rid of that whip. Like, I'm so glad I got rid of that car, bro. Like, I'm so glad I got rid of that car, and just made some of the decisions I made even before that to just put myself in position to where it's like this shit not hurting me. Like, I'm looking like, damn, I was trying to stack a crazy amount of money this year, and it might hurt that, but it's not hurting me at all. But I also just, like I said, I just decided I'm not even gonna let it hurt that. But the pay cut is also gonna give me more time because the way we get paid and shit. It's not like I'm working the same amount and I'm taking a pay cut. I'm forced to work less. You know what I'm saying? But that's going like, nigga, if motherfucker thought I was locked in on roses I did in the village before, shit finna get crazy. Like because we don't even like focus. We focus a lot on action based shit and what we got to do. We don't spend a lot of time focusing on the business of roses I did, and we've never done like social media marketing. We've never put an ad behind a Roses I Did post. There's a lot of shit that we leave on the table just because of having a small team and things like that. So like now that shit is like at a set amount and there's only so much I can work, like nah, bro. I'm finna go crazy. Yeah. I'm finna lean all the way into this. You know what I'm saying? I fuck around and end up making more than I thought I was gonna make this year.
I can see that. Yeah,
so that's what we got, man. We didn't talk about this 50 Cent shit because the word loyalty is being thrown around a lot. I don't like it. And I think people's perception of loyalty based on what Meech did and that, and it ain't even about them because I don't know them niggas, but just the perception of what's going on and what people see as loyalty, I think is completely skewed and fucked up. I want to talk about that. Dimitri said something that was a fucking bar on Threads. He was a woman was saying that she felt like he was disingenuous about wanting to be married
and giving women false hope
with him. Yeah, and he had a lengthy response, and he don't do that shit often, but he had a lengthy response, and a part of that was like, why is it he hates that the admiration for marriage and the desire for marriage and a family is like exclusive to women. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if a man wants that, it's like if a man is expressing that he wants that, it's like, oh, he must be capping because why you single? Versus if a woman is saying that, we take it as at face value, like, oh, she want to be married. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, that's a bar, bro.
Yeah. That was a really good response.
Absolutely.
A great response. Cause outside looking in and just perception, I know he get that a lot. Like, oh, why you still single? Oh, he baiting y'all and all of this. Yeah. And it's like, why I can't romanticize about having a family and a marriage? Like, why is that only reserved for you?
Yeah, and why y'all rushing me to pick one of these hoes? Right. Bro, like 28. like relax.
Like we don't have the same clock as y'all.
Like relax. Like y'all talking like this nigga 40 or something. Like yeah. So we're gonna talk about that some more on Patreon. And a couple other things we gotta discuss on Patreon. Maybe do some more Thug Jones Chronicles and things like that. Let's get into this topic though. Yeah. Why is it so important to read through? Or you had a scenario you wanted to run through?
One time, me and Trey, it was really just Trey. He was playing around. Right? He was playing around. And I let him play, whatever, you're a kid. But then it was getting to be too much. Right? You're going a little too far. So I told him, hey, yo, chill out. Like, we done. Like, relax. And he like, what you, nigga, throwing punches and shit. I'm like, bro, chill out. Like, stop. Like, we had our time. You did that. Cool, chill out. And he steady, he ain't listening. He not really following my instructions or my advice or my warning, per se.
Yeah.
And he steady jabbing. I'm like, sit the fuck down. Like, what you, I yelled, right? Just like that. He followed instructions. He fell back. And, he respected my boundaries. He stopped.
Yeah.
Right. So when it comes to shooting your shot at women in the workplace, first of all, when you stating your boundaries and when you giving instruction or, anything of that nature, if you say it in a calm way, in a normal tone, it's perceived as flexible. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's perceived as flexible. It's perceived as negotiable. Versus if I yell at you, now you listen and now, oh, you serious. Oh, this is real. I shouldn't be playing like this. Let me go ahead and fall in line. So when you shooting your shot at women in the workplace, it's really uncomfortable and tricky for the woman, right? Because in the workplace, this is where guys can not read the room. You making your advances, like Trey, you shooting your jabs or whatever, and she's smiling, she's being nice to you, like, no, I'm okay, I appreciate it, thanks though. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, no, you know what I'm saying? We could probably get to know each other. You know what I mean? It ain't got to be like that. Ooh. And you're like, nah, I'm okay. Like, what, you got a man or something? You got a man? We could be friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I don't have a man. Ooh. And it'll go back and forth like that. Now, Trey, I was able to get Trey to respect my boundaries by yelling and being aggressive and changing my tone. Women at work, they can't do that. Yeah. So now you put them in a space to where this is extremely uncomfortable. I can't, now I'm trapped. My boundaries are being crossed, but I have to remain with a smile, and I'm getting super uncomfortable. Just imagine you in a space where you getting tested and you just gotta sit there and smile and take it. And it's making it extremely uncomfortable. Boundaries are being crossed. And the only way why is it that the only way you gonna listen is if she become the angry black woman. Yeah. Get the fuck out of my face, nigga, goofy ass nigga. Yeah. Now you want to listen or even get offended. Yeah. But she gave you the grace to let you know, and I'm okay. It's cool.
Hey, you spitting right now, G.
You know what I'm saying? She gave you the grace, said, hey, like I'm cool on your advances, but I definitely appreciate them though. But you can't take that because depending upon how you was raised, you don't take shit serious unless it's violent or unless it's aggressive. Somebody just can't have a normal conversation with you and you take that as, oh, let me respect you. Let me respect your boundaries or whatever. So reading the room, if you can't read the room, you're going to put a lot of women in that situation. And women in the workplace already got to deal with a lot of stuff. So think about this, and I'm going to just talk about black women. Black women in the workplace, you definitely don't want to be the angry black woman.
Facts.
You got to think about tokenism. I think I'm saying that right. Tokenism, where they look at you as you speak for all black women. You know what I'm saying? You speak for all black women. Responsibilities, like you juggling all of this stuff, and then somebody come in that space, and I'm code switching too. She code switching. She dealing with a lot of shit psychologically at work just to earn a paycheck.
They letting that white girl wear leggings.
You know what I'm saying? She can't wear exactly
all that.
So
they tripping over her hair.
That was one of my examples.
Yeah.
All of that. So she dealing with all of that, and then you come along and make it uncomfortable, and now it's just you couldn't read the room, and now you just fucked everything up.
Hey, man, that was a lot. Damn, it was so much of that I wanted to respond to. That was a lot, bro. Like that was a lot, man. So when it comes to those environments though, shooting your shot in person, like at work and things like that, what's some things that you would say that niggas need to be more cautious of, or like those signs that niggas need to be more aware of?
Everything I just said. Like, now that you heard that, you will think about it a little differently, because she can't advocate for herself in a way that will maybe you can understand. Yeah. So you need to be aware that, you know what, this is her professional setting. She's probably being nice to me right now.
I meant more like signs, cues, like cues in the moment during the conversation. We actually could go there in a second though, because I want to comment on what you was actually saying. I think that niggas got to stop listening to narratives. like the internet narratives, the social media narratives, or even just the general narratives of things like apply pressure.
Yeah.
Because like when you constantly see women saying apply pressure and then you go do it and now you're a creep and now your reputation is fucked up and now you're harassing somebody, whatever the case may be, you feel like, well, damn, this is what y'all be asking for. And a woman would be like, yeah, not you though. You know what I'm saying? But of course you gonna feel like it's you because women are saying men need to apply more pressure. If you're not getting the results you want and you ain't been applying pressure, now you feel like you need to do this.
Yeah.
But again, your good intentions ain't good enough. So you have to rely on being able to read the room, learning how to read the room, because you can't just rely on good intentions. But I do think those narratives are, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna blame women and say like it's dangerous or it's their fault that they put down in there if they want niggas to apply pressure. That's that woman on the internet that said that.
Yeah.
She don't, like you just said, she don't speak for all women.
Yeah.
And she not talking to you. So you gotta be mature enough and adult enough to know that you can't apply the shit that you hearing on the internet to real life. And it's not just women pushing the narrative. As men, a lot of times we see women as a conquest, so we think that a part of our masculinity is validated by being able to get a woman that's a challenge, or we feel like it's proving something to ourselves and our own ego to get the woman who don't want us. We want the woman who don't want us even more, right? The woman who we should come up, shoot our shot. Nigga, I was feeling you anyway. What's up? It's like, oh, okay, cool, that's easy, but I want to go get shorty that can't nobody get, that kind of don't like me. It's kind of like her saying no makes you more assertive or turns you on more, which is predatory.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of how we could say, oh, men are wired this way or men are whatever the case may be. We don't live in a fucking jungle. We're not cavemen no more.
They love that
shit,
analogy,
bro.
boy.
Like,
you're going against nature. If a lion sees a gazelle, they're gonna like,
nigga, you drink cow milk. Shut the fuck up.
You're not a lion.
I be
nigga.
so tired of niggas. Like,
You're fucking human.
Because of any this is where the red pill shit. We going back in on y'all niggas. Fuck it. This is where the red pill shit gets very contradictory. Like, if you ask any man what's one of the cornerstones of manhood, he's gonna say discipline. Why is sexual discipline exclusive from that? Why is that excluded? Like, oh, I'm a man, I'm wired to fuck multiple bitches. But I thought being a man was about discipline. You wired to not want to get the fuck up out the bed in the morning. You wired to want to eat some bullshit when you're supposed to be on a diet. You wired to go spend the money that you got on some shit that you want and not stack up and do what you're supposed to do. But if you could have discipline and say like, oh, it makes me more of a man to be disciplined in every single area of my life, except sex. How, bro?
You spitting.
How, bro? Like, that's a whole nother topic. But go ahead though. Go ahead.
Like, you just spitting. So the comparison to an animal, right? God gave us free will. The only thing it was a saying. The only difference between a man and a pig is his mind.
Damn.
Like, it got the same organs, same all of that shit, everything. The only difference is the mind. Yeah. So you can't compare you're excluding the most distinct thing about you that gives you the ability to make decisions. You're comparing yourself to an animal, and that animal is missing the main component which makes you special. Yeah. The mind. It don't matter what
you hold yourself to a standard of an animal.
You hold yourself to a standard of an animal. Like, birds flies south for the winter or whatever the case may be. It don't matter how they feel. They don't have a choice.
Right.
Like, they doing that. A bear, they gonna go into hibernate. Like, it's wired that way, but it's more concrete. We have the freedom of choice.
Deductive reasoning, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's where we apply our discipline. That's what makes you the man, because even though you're quote unquote wired that way, with your free mind, you have enough discipline to go against your quote unquote wiring for the better good.
Absolutely. That could have been an episode.
It could have been.
I got something to say, y'all, real quick. But it was along the lines of you saying that the narratives that we're told on social media. I think it's everywhere in terms of how men are supposed to view women as conquest. If you look at 90s movies, almost every 90s movie, if you really look at the activities that was taking place, that shit is cringy as fuck. When you look at Love Jones, and he literally stalked her. Like, he showed up to her crib with a fucking record talking about some, yo, I know you, and she like, what? Like, you at my house? And it's like, okay, she invited him into or whatever, but it was like, you can kind of see the uncomfortability of like, why are you here? Yeah. And that's just one example of the things that a lot of women face every day, where it's like, okay, cool. it's being romanticized in this movie, obviously. Because imagine if she didn't like Darius at all. Imagine if Nina didn't like Darius at all.
Niggas going to jail.
Going to jail. And there are everyday situations where people say like, oh, I want that 90s type of love. I want some love. Like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Like, for real. So I definitely think that socialization of, oh, again, that apply pressure thing. Yeah, we're using that terminology now, but it's been around forever because it literally just reiterates this idea that men are supposed to conquer women.
I feel like a guy would combat what you just said with, because you will see women on the internet, I want that 90s love, like you mentioned. I want the 90s type of thing, right? So just because they say that, and it was not predatory, but he was crossing boundaries and things like that.
Right.
They don't want it from you.
Yeah.
If a nigga that they like and want do that, he can get away with it.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that's where you have to read the room.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about how to read the room, the signs, what to look for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm also not saying, show up. Like, you just got to read the room.
Yeah. And I think we got to remember that this is it's not based on actions. It's based on how someone feels about the actions. And niggas, again, I always say, we don't debate reality. We navigate reality. So I don't niggas going to be crying about like, oh, but da-da-da-da. At the end of the day, me and you, an example I gave to open the show, me and you can do the exact same thing, have the exact same actions, but what I did was harassment because of how I made someone feel versus what you did was perfectly fine and she loved it based on how she felt about you. Like the action, and that's one of the, even like when we talk about sexual assault and shit like that, that's one of the only crimes I could think of that, no, don't get me wrong, it's niggas out here that's really forcing themselves on women. It's niggas out here that's really doing wild, creepy shit. I'm not speaking on them niggas. I don't got nothing to say to or about them niggas. That's not where we at. But for the niggas with good intentions, is what I'm speaking on right now. It's one of the only crimes I could think of that in that scenario is more about how somebody feels about what happened than what actually happened. Because like I said, if she comes over your house after the mimosas and y'all fuck all night, this could be the best night of her life. She wakes up, she's in love with you.
Yeah.
If she wakes up and y'all had the best sex, felt great, whatever, she wake up and remember she got a nigga, or wake up and feel like, damn, I tweaked. That's when he's supposed to do that. I was drunk. Why you let me do that? That's, nigga, you can go to jail. You literally just committed a crime.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But it's based on how someone felt about what happened and not what actually happened. However, I'm not saying that to say that, like, to absolve any niggas from anything. I'm saying that to say that you have a responsibility to read the fucking room.
Yeah.
And you have a responsibility for yourself and for others. I don't give a fuck how fair it is.
That don't matter.
You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. It don't matter. It's real life. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't care how fair it is. You got a responsibility to do what's best for you and the other person. You know what I'm saying? So, going in the reading room. I don't know if you have something else to say about that, but I do want to get to the signs when a woman is open, and then after that get to like the signs that is like, nigga, stop.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So I think for me, one of the signs that someone is open, I take a lot of body cues into account. Starting off with eye contact. Usually one thing I notice that if a woman is feeling me, when we catch eye contact, she will fix herself. That's a cue that I typically pick up on. I don't know if that's something that you look at. So if I'm across the bar and I make eye contact with a girl and she stopped and started to like fix her hair and like straighten her shirt up and stand up straight, it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? She might be feeling the motherfucker. Let me go over here and see what's going on. Versus if she look at me and like break eye contact super fast, don't look back in my direction. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But that's something that has worked for me. That's one cue that I can't say has ever been a time where I see a woman and she look back at me and she start fixing her hair and doing all that, and then I approach and it don't go my way. Like,
90. The reason why that works most of the time is because 93% of communication is nonverbal.
Right.
Like body language. That's another. That's. I also use that as well. My example I like to use is, let's just say we at a bar and a young lady is sitting at the bar. She with her friends or whoever. She's just at the bar. I walk up at the bar and I stand next to her and I go to introduce myself and we're standing like this. I go to introduce myself. Two things. She could either, oh hey, how you doing? Like and just be like that, or a sign that'll tell me that she's interested in me. I go to introduce myself. She shifts her body towards me to have a conversation. Like, oh, hey,
She literally
how you
like
doing?
opened up. to
She
you.
literally, oh, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
That's a cue that she analyzed what she saw. She liked what she saw.
Yeah.
And now it's up to me to kind of continue the conversation.
For sure.
Not reading the room is you walk up to this young lady at the bar. She doesn't shift and engages with you. She's very short. Hey, how you doing?
Short response is just the biggest.
I'm cool.
The biggest sign that you need to move the fuck.
One-way
along.
communication. If she's not continuing the conversation, if it's just you asking the questions, she's not interested in you at all.
Yeah.
And you should. That's reading the room.
And I
Like,
think
you
a
know
lot
what?
of time niggas make excuses for themselves, and nigga, oh, maybe she just shy, right? You know what? You might be right. She might be shy. She might actually be feeling you and might be shy. I'm not risking it. I'm gonna move the fuck around. And I think the big thing is like just not being pressed. I think like before any of this shit, it's just kind of starting at the baseline of not being fucking pressed. Because if you pressed, you're gonna do a lot of dumb shit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be outside with the radio. You gonna fuck the drunk girl. There's another rule that I like. This is a man law.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never fucked her sober, do not fuck her drunk.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like, don't ever let your first time having sex with one. I don't give a fuck how long y'all known each other. I don't give a fuck how long y'all been cool. I don't give a fuck how long y'all been feeling each other. I don't give a fuck how long y'all been in a relationship. If you've never had sex with a girl while she's sober, do not have sex with her. Don't never let the first time y'all fuck, she be drunk.
Yeah.
That's just too risky. And I don't care if you did it 10 times and then nothing never happened. It's just a bad idea.
It's a risk.
It's a bad idea.
Risk versus
a risk
reward.
that's not worth it.
Risk versus reward, right? So it's a lot of guys who they've been in that situation before, and the first time they do have sex with a woman, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Risk versus reward is also thinking. I'm a related to like gym, right?
Yeah.
I would squat before last July. I squatted like twice a week. I would squat, cool, whatever. Nothing ever happened. The last time I squatted, I ended up herniating my disc in my back. Right. So it was fucked up. I healed, but now the risk versus reward. I don't ever have to squat again.
Yeah.
I'm cool. Yeah. I can still get the same result. I can work on other machines. I can get a result a different way. Yeah. The risk of squatting and fucking up my back for life is not worth the reward of me posting the video on Instagram and somebody saying, "Damn, he's strong."
Yeah.
But to equate that to in that situation, you sleep with this. You've slept with plenty of women drunk before.
Yeah.
But you sleep with this one. She wake up. She feels different, and just from that small thing, now the risk, you're gonna get the consequences of the risk, and that is a rape charge. Mm-hmm. That's not worth her being her. You assuming her being okay with it.
Yeah. Yo, I get on that sexual offenders list.
That's over with. Women look that shit up.
They do.
They do.
And they will post their ass too. I just saw somebody post a sexual offenders list in Chicago. And it's like 4 of them niggas lived in the same building. I say, God damn. Like that landlord needs to be arrested. The fuck?
You didn't see this shit?
Like what the fuck?
No women are safe here.
Like, bro, women, kids, that's another thing. It say like how old the victim was. A lot of their ass was fucking with kids. A lot of them was fucking with kids. But all right, let's get back to the main topic. What we saying? So some signs that she's not interested. Again, her being super short. If a girl say she got a nigga, it's not space for you to say, oh, well, maybe we could woo woo woo. If she wanted to woo woo, she wouldn't have told you she had a nigga.
Mm-hmm. Like, go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? And even with that, sometimes it's some girls that I've told me they got a nigga, and they still been flirtatious, and we still end up fucking around, whatever the case may be. But again, it's not worth. Like, it's just not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I feel like we finna be picking on the red pill niggas, but they like to.
I don't like them niggas.
They like to, use the animal kingdom as a reference to talk about our instincts and how we're wired, right?
Yeah.
So, lion is wired in instinct to attack the gazelle.
Yeah.
You can't. There's been situations that I've been in where I'm approaching a woman, and even though she's not being aggressive or mean or anything like that, I can feel that this isn't a connection here. Like my instincts is telling me this is forced. I'm trying to make a conversation. She's not really engaging back with me.
Yeah.
Some of the cues, her body language is this. Even though none of this is being said, I can feel that this ain't it because you know what it's like when you approach a woman and she's engaging with you. Yeah. She likes you. She's giving you the conversation.
Yeah.
Anything other than that, nigga, you know it's not this ain't it.
And I think it's important to put yourself on a higher pedestal too. I'm not gonna lie. The way I feel about myself these days, it's a whole nother level to it. Cause like even when we like that night when we was in the bar, we was going crazy. Like
that was a good night.
One of the chicks that I hollered at the end was cold, and I just saw her again at Red Room. She was cold, thick as hell.
Cold again,
bro. Cold again. Like, you know what I'm saying? But my vibe with her, we kicked it. We talked for like 15 minutes. I probably talked to her longer than anybody else I talked to in that bar. Yeah. But I knew she wasn't on shit. I knew she would have gave me her number. Mm-hmm. I knew that she might have kicked it with me, whatever. But I knew that she wasn't. It was like some homie shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The whole conversation. And that was the thing. Like, her conversation was there. She wasn't being short at all. She was engaged. We was laughing. She didn't really open up to me. She was kind of sitting this way. I'm kind of laying on this. You know how they got them couches all freaky and shit. Yeah. So I'm laying on this couch over here talking to her kind of over my shoulder. She's sitting a different way, whatever the case may be. And the conversation was a great conversation. But you got to like me a lot. And I think that's the part of it. Because like, if I didn't have myself on a pedestal, I would have exchange numbers with her. I didn't exchange numbers with her. I just went the Instagram route because I'm like, yeah, she ain't really on shit. Like, she feeling the conversation and shit right now. Mm-hmm. But this could be a situation where I set myself up to waste my time. And I'm going to be blaming her for the shit later. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she knew she wasn't interested. Nigga, you knew deep down she wasn't interested.
Come on.
But if you don't hold yourself on a pedestal, you will convince yourself that she interested because she interested enough. You know what I'm saying? She giving you enough time. She gave you the number. So it's like, oh, she must be woo-woo. For me, that ain't good enough. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta like really be interested in me like I'm interested in you, or I don't even want your number. I'm not trying to convince you to like me more down the line. I'm not trying to convince myself that like, damn, if she answers the phone, she on the phone, man, shorty probably bored. Shorty probably, the nigga she like ain't taking her out. Like, but you finna take her out. You know what I'm saying? Nigga out, she like just piping her and Netflix and chill, they having a great time. So, and it's not, hey, that's their business. I'm not trying to play that role in her life. You know what I'm saying? So I think putting yourself on a higher pedestal, not being some, super cocky ass arrogant nigga, but just actually requiring that someone be interested in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I feel like I walk in a room and you just supposed to be on my dick. Nah, but I'm giving you enough conversation and enough of my personality for you to reciprocate that. If you actually was interested. Because I just talked to 7 other motherfuckers in here and they did.
And they love me. They love me right now.
I'm gonna text them tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead.
I lost my train of thought. It was on that subject. Oh, got it. You're choosing to walk away. Mm-hmm. You're gonna feel better about yourself. Mm-hmm. How many times have you pushed the envelope, or you try to force something and it don't go your way, and you feel like a lame, like you feel like I shouldn't did this shit, like damn, I gotta chill. Yeah. You had that conversation with yourself, like, man, I ain't doing that no more. When you're gonna get to a point where you can read the room and you're able to walk away, and I ain't gonna lie, like this shouldn't be your goal, but you walking away and you not pressing, that could very well damn near turn her on, or not even turn her, not in a sexual way, but she could notice that and like that quality about you, and just instinctively, people want what they can't have, because she probably was assumed that you would press and be on her, but since you read the room and immediately like, nah, it was a pleasure to meet you though. Like, get used to having conversations with women in social settings, and it be a vibe, and hey, it was nice talking to you though. You have a good night. Yeah, and it just being on that type of time.
Yeah, and that go back to kind of like playing a long game, what we talked about way back in the shoot episode. I think that's like episode 10. Damn, we probably like 56 episodes in right now. But playing a long game, you kind of won't fall. It'll be easier to read the room because like you're kind of creating a rapport with someone over time, and then kind of shooting that shot to say like, hey, I actually want to date you. Yeah. Whatever the case. When I say over time, I ain't talking about like a year or no shit like that. Yeah. It might be over a month or something like that. And like we just talked about like you going to church. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or that's what we got to talk about in Patreon too.
Yeah, that's Patreon.
My next church visit. But even like shooting your shot at somebody, like we was having a conversation. I'm like, bro, you don't even really got to shoot your shot in church. You're going to see shorty every Sunday. Right. Like, so you could introduce yourself one Sunday. You could, you know what I'm saying, make some small talk about the sermon, woo, start speaking to her. And then maybe 3 weeks from now, you might say, hey, you know, we going to eat at the church. You know, you want to pull up, you can come with us, and kind of gauge it from there.
Yeah.
And be genuine with it. She might end up being a homie. She might end up being somebody you actually date. She might end up being a homie who got a badass sister, a badass like, you know what I'm saying, badass homegirl that you end up dating. So, you know, it's just not being attached to the outcome again, not being thirsty. You know what I'm saying? But also, you know, and some of the shit be planting seeds. You know what I'm saying? It's some women who I know if I it could be, I don't even go to your church for real, but it could be a chick I see up there that I just introduce myself. Hey, how you doing? Woo, woo. I don't got to shoot. I know it's people not even because church, I'm gonna see you every Sunday. It's people that I meet at bars.
Yeah.
That I do that with. Cause I know the city's so small. I fuck with the R&B lounge. I'm gonna see you again.
Right.
You gonna see me on Instagram. I'm gonna see you on Instagram. Like the city too fucking small. So there's a lot of people, it might be a year from now. I just plant the seed. Next time I'll holler at you. It might be fucking October. Cool, whatever. Damn, I remember you from like, yeah. What's up, man? She excited to see me now. She finally done fucking with dude. You back outside. Cool.
Hey, it's been so many situations where like that be the case, and you didn't press, and it's like, oh, I'm available now, and you in the game.
Yeah. Dating could be fun, actually.
I think a lot of guys also. I see them say, you know, if she like you, you know, what's the rule that they say? She break the rules for the niggas she like or some shit like that.
They make rules for niggas they don't like and break rules for niggas they do like.
So this is kind of, that's true. It's some truth to that, but this is the problem. You feel like you're the anomaly in every situation, and a lot of women they not like us. We could see a woman and be on that, like the attraction, like we way easier to spark a connection. Believe it or not, a lot of women, they like the romance of things. They like the process way more than we do. Like a lot of women fall in love or fall in like or whatever with guys' personalities. Why you think you see a lot of maybe pretty women with not so attractive men that you would think? You know what I'm saying? It's like that. How the fuck you get her?
Yeah.
Is his personality. Is she got to know him or whatever the case may be. So just because that instant attraction isn't there, you ain't gotta press all that. You don't have to receive that infatuation. She don't have to be just so head over heels for you right now. Even though that can happen. Yeah. If you peep that's not the case, just keep it, you know what I'm saying, platonic for now. Just introduce yourself. Plant the seed. Yeah. You don't know what that could lead to.
I don't want to use the word platonic.
Yeah, when I said it, I was like,
yeah, you don't want to, because you don't want to encourage niggas to try to date women under the guise of friendship. Yeah. So, but I get what you meant though. So basically, you saying just keep shit cool. Like,
keep it cool.
We ain't got to press right now. Play the long game. Don't make it to where like, hey, you're gonna be my bestie. But it's just like, hey, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? And that's the next thing I want to get into, timing. Yeah. Timing is everything.
And I remember this one girl. We was in conversation. We cool, but I wanted to make sure like we're not friends. Like we're cool. Yeah. Or whatever the case may be. And I had said something and I corrected myself. And I was like, oh, my fault. Like I didn't mean that. Like you're not my friend. But you know, she knew where I was going with it.
For sure. Timing, man. I'm big on, like I told you, I work out at LA Fitness in Hyde Park. It's oh my God.
You gonna make me pay the visit.
There's some shit in there. I don't shoot my shot at women at the gym. Yeah. I just think it's inappropriate. I know it's some women who like niggas to shoot at them at the gym. I hear about it, I see it on social media, whatever the case may be. Of course, they like it from the niggas who they want to talk to. Like. Of course, they, and they like it to be at the right time. Like, I see a lot of women like, don't come talk to me in the middle of no set. Yeah. Whatever the case may be, if I'm actually doing this and that. And, just for me, and it's just for me, like, not being thirsty, not feeling the need to be thirsty and things like that. I'm just not doing that. Like, I don't give a fuck if shorty could be, it's women I've walked in the gym and they spoke to me from across the gym. They see me, hey, how you doing? I'm talking about nice. Yeah. And it might be on some just like they recognize the podcast, whatever the case may be, but that's just for me, I'm not shooting my shot at the gym. I'll catch you in the parking lot. I'm not shooting my shot in the gym. That's
happened, I think, once for me. Yeah. Like while I shot my shot, but I planted the seed. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're wild as hell.
And I planted that, like I played that so smooth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We saw each other every day. And what's crazy, I used to see her in there it was her boyfriend. That was her boyfriend at the time.
Oh, the nigga that she was in there with?
Yeah, because they would work out. They was always so close up with each other. Like it just gave, you know what I'm saying? Like this is who she fucking with, or whatever the case may be. But I also peeped that we would catch eye contact. Yeah. Now it's a difference between somebody catching eye contact and like, oh, you just in my path versus you're looking at me.
Yeah.
So I noticed that, and she was attractive, but I never said anything. I stopped seeing dude, and I seen her in there one day. Yeah. I'm like, yo, we walk past each other damn near every other day. What's your name? She told me, I'm Reggie. Nice to meet you. For sure. Have a good workout. Yeah. Boom. Long story short, that later down the line, she walking up to me now. What you working on today? Boo. And you know, that seed blossomed.
So you posed to be chose.
I posed to be chose. I put myself in position.
You got to pose to be chose. That's how you got to. Sometimes that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, but
especially in them awkward situations.
Yeah, I normally don't I don't shoot my shot at the gym, and it's another woman at the gym. She's attractive, but I wouldn't say anything to her. Mm-hmm. You know why? Reading the room. How Shorty was looking at me, she don't look at me like that. Yeah. I'm just in her eye view walking past.
And you got to read the room. Oh my God, I remember it was one chick. I was in a club, and she was cold, and it was a line of niggas waiting to talk to her.
A line?
I'm not lying to you, bro. So the party's packed, right? And these niggas not in a single file line.
This sound like Hitch. Remember when Shorty was at the bar?
I can't really remember Hitch like that, but like it was baseline, a Jamaican night, the Afrobeat, whatever, reggae, whatever. That shit sweatboxing that bitch, but it's lit though. It's this chick standing on the wall with her friend, and it's a nigga in her face trying to talk to her. And I see it's like probably 4-5 niggas just watching. The first nigga walk off, the next nigga walk up. But the next nigga wasn't standing looking at them. He had his back turned.
He kind of like
the other way. As soon as bro walk off, he turned, and I'm looking. I'm like, gee, that is not a single foul line, but I can spot every nigga that's waiting to talk to Shorty. I'm like, I ain't even on that. And I think I caught her walking to her car when we was leaving. I was like, hey, no, I think I caught them leaving out the door. Mm-hmm. That's what I did. I waited till she was about to leave out the door. Yeah. Not saying that I watched her the whole night with it, but I just so happened to see her leaving out the door. I'm like, yeah, this bitch kind of dry anyway. I'm out of here. Yeah. So I caught them, you know what I'm saying, walking out, settle up, you know, whatever to it. And I'm like, oh, I could walk out to your car if I need me to. So, oh yeah, of course, you in love. You walk to the car, it's dark outside, da-da-da. And I end up bagging and shit like that. But again, read the room in essence. I would, at first in my mind, I was like, I'm not even, she was going to be stressed the fuck out. I'm not even finna shoot my shot at all first, initially. But, you know, so you got to really look at the whole field when you're ready to shoot your shot.
I got to, you know what Hitch did in that situation?
What did he do?
Like it was the Shorty was at the bar. Same exact scenario.
Yeah.
He like, I want her, but it's too many, all these niggas are trying to holler at her.
Yeah.
He walked up to her and put $20 in her hand, and he was like a gin and tonic. Thanks, and walked off. Yeah. And she, hey, excuse me, hey, I don't work here. He said, how else I was gonna get you away from all them guys? I'm like, that was kind of smooth.
Yeah, Will Smith just in movies at least,
in
smooth
movies.
motherfucker. For sure. I want to talk about power dynamics.
Okay.
Power dynamics when it comes to reading the room. So this whole episode was inspired by a girl that we're friends with.
Yes, we had to talk. Right, that's how. Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And was this in her close friends or this public?
Close friends.
It was in close, so I don't want to say her name and things like
no.
that. But there's a girl that we was cool with, and she was saying that there's a guy that she paid to do some work at her crib, and the nigga was trying to shoot a shot.
Yeah.
And she wasn't attracted to the nigga. She didn't want the nigga trying to shoot a shot, and he kept kind of pushing it. Mm-hmm. So I think as men, you know how like, you ever been around a nigga who had a growth spurt and don't realize how big he is, and he still want to play with you like he the same size he was like 2 months ago?
I thought of somebody instantly. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, bro, the lack of self-awareness makes him kind of like too assertive. So you can't do the shit that you was just doing. That shit was cool in this situation. It's not cool in that situation. I think a lot of times as men, we don't realize how women see us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in a situation to where, and it could be the same way, and just to put us in that scenario, it could be the same way with a police officer. Yeah. I feel like sometimes the police don't realize how we see them. Okay. Right? So when you walk up to my car, or you ask me to get out the car, or whatever, however you engaging with me, you got a gun, you got authority, whatever the case may be. So even if we having a back and forth, I feel more so powerless in this situation. I might be a little intimidated in this situation. even if I'm not coming off that way, even if you're not intending for it to be that way, the power dynamics make me inferior right now, and I'm operating from that space, even if you don't realize it as a police officer. As a man in a woman's house, and it's just y'all in the house, and you trying to shoot your shot, you gotta really be reading. First of all, it's another situation. I wouldn't be shooting my shot.
Yeah,
I just wouldn't. Maybe when the job is done. Maybe when the job is done and it's over, and I might text like, "Hey, I appreciate you hiring me for the gig. Ooh, I just was wondering, was you single? I might like take you out for a drink." When the job is done, not when I got to come back to your house tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the power dynamic is like, bro, she's not interested. You keep pressing the issue. She don't know you, and like physically, you're able to have your way if that's what you wanted to get on. You might not be that type of guy at all. That might be the furthest thing from your mind. You're a great person. She can't take her chances on knowing that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because it's just like with that police officer, this might be the best, most honest cop in the world. I can't bet on you being a great cop.
You
know what I'm saying?
Who said that? What, Malcolm X?
What?
Was it Malcolm X that said no, I think it was Muhammad Ali.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah, he like, if it's a fucking 100 snakes out here, but you talking about it's 3 good ones in there. Like,
yeah.
You think I'm finna
try to
which
figure it out? I'm gonna slam the door on all of them. Yeah.
But in that situation, and just for a little more context, he wasn't in the crib with her.
Okay.
It was a text conversation. So she paid him to do some work, and he actually, gave her a deal or whatever. He like, I'm gonna give you a deal. He came through with a reference. And in the middle of the job, he's texting her, what I'm saying, flirtatious things. And she showed like the screenshots or whatever. And she kind of like dodging the questions. He asked like, he played the angle. He was like, your boyfriend don't know how to like do like a little contract work or whatever. And she was like, no, like my dad usually helps out with like, no, she said my dad usually helps out. She didn't say, no, she said my dad. She's like kind of derailed, whatever the case may be. But it's in the middle of the job, you making these advances and you gave her a deal. So that's like
it's like a quid pro quo.
It's literally like quid pro quo. Like you know what I'm saying? You did a favor for a favor type shit. Yeah. And it made it uncomfortable. It's like, cause now I gotta reject you, but you still gotta come in my space. And
expect you to do your best work.
Do the best work.
Yeah. And
it just made it uncomfortable in those professional settings. And I ain't gonna lie, like I damn near wouldn't even when the job was finished. Like I don't want to make it weird for you. I'm aware. I know how it can look. I know how, even though that ain't my intentions at all. Yeah. But I just don't even like putting people like really in them situations.
And even when I say when a job is finished, that's only if I picked up on some type of vibe while I was there. You know what I'm saying? While I'm there, I pick up on some type of vibe. But if I ain't like, I just feel like we gotta just stop. I was seeing something with Duke Dennis the other day, and actually a couple months ago, Duke Dennis was like, man, people always talk about how I get so many girls, and every time, I seem like I get the girl every time. He was like, nigga, that's because I only talk to girls who I know like me. Yeah. Like, I'm not shooting my shot at no chick. She bad. She over there, man, her own business. I'm not walking up shooting my shot at her. Mm-hmm. I'm shooting my shot at the chick that's looking at me already. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
I remember Goldie, he was like, you shouldn't be taking women on dates to get them to like you. You should take the women on dates that like you.
Right.
Like don't go on the date to, hopefully this makes her like you more. Yeah. Take the woman that like you. Same shit.
Going into more power dynamics though, or at least one more, the boss employee power dynamic, right? Okay. I think that's one of the most dangerous situations that we see, whether it be corporate or otherwise, is, when you're someone's boss and their job is to meet your request, meet your demands, you kind of hold the keys to their livelihood in your hands. You could fire them, you could get them a raise, you get them promotion, and you're flirting with them. Even that flirtation, even if you don't take it to actually shooting your shot, even if you're just letting them know you're interested, that could make someone super fucking uncomfortable, because now they have to wonder what's gonna happen with my job, my livelihood if I'm not interested. You know what I'm saying? And as a man, I've been in that situation with a woman before. That was my superior. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that shit is super uncomfortable as a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
So imagine for them.
Yeah.
I was in Walmart, and I don't know if y'all know, I'm pretty sure y'all do. In Walmart, they'll like let people come in the store and, solicit business. Like somebody probably selling phones or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And that's the situation. Now it was an attractive woman that worked at one of these, stations or whatever.
It's always a baddie at one of those.
Yeah, I actually okay, Patreon. But no, I was an attractive woman, at one of these stations or whatnot. So obviously she's greeting people as they walking past. Hey, how you doing? You're trying to solicit business. A guy walks up, finds her attractive, and he's shooting his shot. You know what I'm saying? And she like, no, I'm okay, whatever. Like you're in public, like you're around hella people. And she got her coworker that's with her, and her coworker was white. You know what I'm saying? And who knows their dynamic. You know what I'm saying? You can't assume that they work besties or whatever. It could be that same dynamic to where she's trying to maintain frame because she's way more responsible, not just for herself, but for the image of black women working with this white man. And you putting her in this uncomfortable situation. And like I said in the beginning, she can't turn up her aggression or change her tone for real because she's probably code switching right now. But you don't understand that. You think you taking her her soft rejections as, bait to go harder. And that girl actually kind of spazzed out on her. Like, get the fuck away from me. Like the real her came out.
Yeah.
And
she couldn't take it.
She couldn't take it no more. It was way too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And her coworker looked like he was disgusted in a way. And now he like, damn, okay, my fault. And he walks off. You out the equation, but now she's in a situation with her coworker now, and who knows what he gonna go back and tell or whatever case may be. It's just uncomfortable situations for women.
Absolutely. I want niggas to also be cognizant of the long-term effects that not being able to read the room can have on you. We've been talking a lot about how that affects women, but it affects you as well. And the number one thing, in my opinion, that it affects is your reputation. We all know guys that are known as creeps.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, women have a general, whether it's a nigga you went to college with, whether it's whatever social circles you run into, to where you kind of, it might be a nigga that you cool with. It might be a nigga it ain't like the nigga your best friend, but the nigga cool. But every time his name come up around some chicks, like, oh, this nigga a creep. A lot of time, odds are, he don't know that.
Yeah.
He don't know people were saying that about him. He don't know people feel that way. If you're a nigga who can't read the room, it's a good chance that you're one of those guys that's being spoke on in that way. Because all of the niggas that I know that get spoke on in that way are niggas who cannot read the room. They do not realize that they're making people uncomfortable. And when they do, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? But that's just a nasty thing to have on your reputation. And it don't really go away.
I was gonna say, especially at our age, with the city being so small.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't like, you at this grammar school and you could just transfer. Like, the city is, with social media and just the times, and shit is just small.
Yeah.
And if you create that reputation, you gonna have to, if you want a clean slate, you're gonna have to move to another city.
You might. It's gonna take a long time for people to kind of let go of that idea of you. And then it's like the way that you're coming off, I don't know, like the homies that I've seen do it is just, you know what I'm saying? It's just a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a bad look. It's hard to even explain, man. It's just a bad look.
Yeah.
But what else we got? I think what time we at, Joe?
1 minute and 14.
An hour and 14?
That's exactly what I meant.
Yeah, an hour and 14. All right, cool, man. With that, we gonna go to Patreon in a second. You got AMP?
Yes, I do. I forgot it that quick. Okay, cool. So when you giving your advice to people, life advice, let's just say you experience some things, you've done some ventures or whatever, and it didn't work out for you, right? So now you've gained wisdom from that situation. And let's just say you giving advice to somebody who's getting ready to walk a similar path. You want to be careful with the advice that you give them, and you want to also make sure you include what you learned from that situation, because you don't want to deter somebody from the lessons that they might learn through the failure that they might experience too. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times, we learn a lot from failure. I learned a lot of things from a failed store. I learned a lot of things from slow business or whatever the case may be. So I won't tell you don't start a clothing line or don't start a business or whatever. Go this route. Do something else. Do it later, whatever the case may be. it was a lot of character development during that season. It was a lot of discipline created in that season. I gained a lot of confidence within myself, witnessing the work ethic and all of that. So I got to be careful with the advice I give because I don't want to deprive you of a character building season, of a learning lesson that you might miss out on because I'm giving you advice. I'm giving you fear-based advice. You know what I'm saying? You might learn a big lesson in that failure. Sometimes I might have to let you go down that road and see for yourself. Yeah. Now, you got to read the room with that too. I'm not going to tell you, you know what I'm saying? You got to read the room with that. It could be drastic situation. Like you probably shouldn't sleep with that woman, like versus, regular advice like that. So you just got to be careful with the advice you're giving people. You don't want to take away from their experiences. They can learn a lot of things through failure.
Absolutely. That's great boy mom advice, actually. You know what I'm saying? That's great boy mom advice. You got to let your son fail sometime. But going into advice for boy moms today, I think a boy mom's biggest fear is that their son might turn into the niggas that they got to deal with every day. Whether it be the perv nigga at work, whether it be the nigga you dated that didn't value you, the niggas you dated that was haters, that was hating on you, didn't want you to do better than them, the niggas that only saw you as a conquest and all of these things. How do you make sure your son don't turn into the average nigga that you see that you got to deal with every day? And I think that a big part of that is, for one, self-awareness. We teach our sons self-awareness in the sense of dealing with the police a lot of times, right? So we teach our boys like, hey, when you get out here, you deal with the police, you need to, handle yourself this way. You need to be able to code switch. You need to, you walking down the street with a hoodie on. When you walk in that gas station, take that hoodie off. Take your hands out your pockets. We teach them what being black and what their skin means in the rest of the world and how they interact with other people. But it's not often that we teach them what being a man means and how you interact with women at different times and how a woman can be intimidated by you because you're tall. A woman can be intimidated by you because you're stronger than her or just because you're a man in general. We don't really teach a lot of boys self-awareness around what it means to be a man to other people, to women, to people that are not men, like the women. You know what I'm saying? So that's number one, is the self-awareness, but also the awareness of other people. So I would say people watch with your son. When you go to the grocery store, we used to play this game. Remember the game we played on New Year's a couple years ago where we was at the table, it was like a couples thing, and we was like, we're gonna look at people and we're gonna go up to them and guess 3 things about them. And if we're right, we gotta buy them a shot. I think if we're wrong about everything, we gotta buy them a shot. So people watch, like taking your son places and people watch when in the grocery store, like, what do you think that person mood is right now? You think they're in a good mood or a bad mood? It could even go as far as like, what do you think that they work? Like if you had to guess, what does this person work? What does this person look like they do? Right? Just to start making them look at people and be more aware of other people, how they feel, how they move around and things like that. Not in the sense of judging anybody, but just being aware of people around them and their body language and everything regarding that. So I think that's important when it comes to teaching your son how to read the room and not end up like the niggas that you have to deal with and you hate every day. Typically, those niggas are the way that they are because they can't read the room. Now, if they can't read the room and they still creeps, then they just niggas who need to be locked away and sociopaths and things like that.
I got a quick
Hold on, Jody. Put the camera on me. This nigga raw as hell for that. That is an amazing fucking game. That's a great muscle exercise. That shit is cold.
I was about to suggest another game. So there's this parent coach that I follow, and she has 2 sons, and she plays the consent game with them.
I think I heard of that.
And the consent game is where she tells them yes or no, but only using body language. So they come in for a hug, and she says, like, I'm going to tell you yes or no with my body language, and you tell me what you think my body language is saying. That's so they come in for a hug, and she kind of like closes her body up. And then he says like, no, mommy doesn't want a hug. And then she'll like, he'll come up for a hug and then she opens her arms and embraces him. And then he's like, mommy wants a hug. So I think that's super important because her kids are like 5 and 7, like they're young boys. And I think that the sooner we kind of normalize, again, having those conversations around boundaries, what's healthy, what's not, we'll be able to fix a lot of what we're seeing in terms of like adults that are like, yo, you one of those niggas that I don't want to be around because you creeping me out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a dope game too. That's a real dope game. Reading body language, practicing that.
That's super dope, man. That's super dope. to wrap this up, man, again, as always, as we say, we appreciate y'all walking the journey of life and improvement with us on Roses Are Dead. Whatever that you want in life, make sure you keep your foot on the gas. You go as hard as you can for it, and don't hesitate to take a shot. Decide, plan, sacrifice.
Shoot after they read the room.
God in the cake.